Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to YuGiOh Master Duel. I took a break for a week and I come back literally just in time for all of the new support. New-ish support, well not really support, but more new cards coming in from Duelist Nexus. We are literally just a few real-world months away from Age of Overlord, and the meta will be not exactly shaken up, but turned on its head yet again. This is the start. As you can see here, Promethean Princess on the screen. She's not in the deck right now, but she is definitely something you should heavily consider for this deck in particular. And also probably one more copy of Linkoribo, especially if you plan to go to the through the whatchamacallit, the Pot of Extravagance, or hell, even Pot of Prosperity lines. Well, quote unquote lines, but it's just, ways to bait out Ash Blossom for this deck in particular. But without further ado, this is the deck that I will be rocking probably for the foreseeable future until, of course, this deck gets heavily hampered, which is honestly very likely, similar to how Pearly is now severely gutted right now. I mean, it's still playable. I have been playing it off camera, but I had to unfortunately dust a lot of the URs in that deck just so that I can build this. And I had enough gems for a 10 roll, and I literally immediately got Diabell Star, like one copy of Diabell Star. So it saved me on 30 UR dust, and it was slightly cheaper to just build this deck because this is more of a Rescue Ace deck than it is a Snake Eyes deck, because Diabell Star is I'm literally just using her for her absolute floor, which is just as a discard outlet. Now, the build you see here of Rescue Ace is just 2 cards away, literally 2 cards away from being full power. It literally only needs emergency, which is literally emergency teleport for this archetype, and the other high level one, it's color blue, I believe. I don't remember its name, but it's literally just missing those two, and this deck will be humming on all cylinders. And if you're a Rescue Ace player, you wouldn't have it any other way. Now, main gameplay, game plan of this deck rather, is to get this big ass fire truck into play somehow. Turbulence, you have to banish 2 Rescue Ace cards. I repeat, any card will work. And then you do set 4 pass. I'm basically treating this more like a control deck than a wombo combo deck, hence you see like multiples of stuff here in the extra deck rather than the more quote-unquote stock builds where you have link climbing tools in order to do, basically close out games a lot quicker. But I honestly don't like doing that. I prefer builds or strategies that are, just slightly off the beaten path but can compete with the more meta threats. And I have faced off against meta threats, and my win percentage is 50-50. Sometimes I win just as much as I lose, which is typical here on Master Duel and of course with my channel. But let's get into the card by card in case you guys did not know what the fire department has in store for all of you here. So running it down with one of the 2 main monsters of this deck. I mean, apart from Turbulence, which is the boss monster, and then here we have Fire Hydrant. Well, just Hydrant or Hydrant, because it's like a lot of this stuff is like insect motifs. I don't know why, but it's just a fire hydrant. Oh god, why is it lagging so hard? This is just a sentient fire hydrant. While you control the Rescue Ace monster, other than the hydrant, they can't target this thing for effects, and also it cannot be targeted with card effects by your opponent. So it's you can leave it in attack position, but it's basically invulnerable from non-board wipes. But you need to be able to control at least one other Rescue Ace monster. And then the main thing that you use this guy for is the last sentence. During your main phase, you can add a Rescue Ace monster from your deck to your hand, except Hydrant. Now, yes, that is your additional searching. So getting to this guy as soon as possible is is of utmost priority. Although again, without emergency in this deck, this tends to break a little because it relies heavily on getting your high levels into play as soon as possible, as much as possible, and then somehow if you don't get them in time or you draw your cards in the wrong order, well, they'll just be stuck frozen in your hand. Hence why you go to your extra deck, because you also need these guys somehow. I don't know why the fire department would want to have the morticians involved as well, but they need the graveyard somehow. I don't know why. But Hydrant is basically your main extender and can also be a starter depending on the circumstances of your hand. And then the second effect, it's not too significant, but it can help because if you have a set Rescue Ace card, or where is it? Yeah, you can activate a quick play spell or trap card that was set by the effect of your Rescue Ace card the turn it was set. Usually, this Hydrant works side by side with Turbulence, and you know, you can activate any of the big four, as I've heard it be called, the big four spells and traps of this deck. Literally, when you set it, you can activate it right away. And then the other Rescue Ace cards here. First off, we have Impulse. There are a lot of variations on how many copies you should have of Impulse, because some builds run Rota. Because Impulse, annoyingly, and so is Airlifter, they're not machines, and the rest of this deck are machines, including the other high level one that will be coming soon, is also a machine, and these are the only two that basically differ because they are non-machines. They're both warriors for some reason. So that's going to cause a little bit of hullabaloo when it comes to your searching lines, but it's not going to be too hard once you see this deck tick. But his main job in this deck is he's basically a hand trap. He can also act as a slow negate somehow, but he only targets your opponent's monster with the highest attack, so you're really only mainly using him for his in-hand or on-field quick effect, where you will tribute him, and then you special summon a machine Rescue Ace monster from your deck. Note, it only summons machines, so if you have the other high level, or you can also summon Fire Engine, which is also a surprisingly good extender. I've had hands where this guy just gets me out of situations that I never thought I would never get out of. But yeah, that's all Impulse's job. He's there just to unbrick your hand, and can even set up certain lines that you didn't me personally, I didn't think were possible. Like I have Impulse in hand, and then I summon Fire Engine out of it, and then I use Fire Engine's effect to summon the Airlifter that I discarded from my hand just a few moves ago. So, and then it gives me to the field spell. We'll get to that when we get to that. But speaking of Airlifter, this guy, depending on where you are in the paper game, in the OCG, I believe he is semi-limited, and then in the TCG, he is limited to 1, because if there is one thing that the fire department relies upon, it's spells and traps. Basically, their entire back row. And this guy basically acts as additional copies of your spells and traps, and that's honestly his primary job. He also has a second effect where, similar with Impulse, you can special summon a Rescue Ace monster from your hand. It can matter, especially when you want to set up blockers so that you want Hydrant to live for as long as possible. And a lot of and believe me when I say a lot of the smaller bodies, especially Impulse and Airlifter, they are highly disposable. And hell, even 2 copies of Hydrant, they can be thrown away, because this deck has an unbelievable recycling tool in the field spell, and we'll get to that when we get there. But Airlifter is the most important level 4 in this deck, apart from Impulse, because I've seen some builds run only 1 Impulse and 3 Airlifter, because Airlifter is just that good of a card. But I prefer to run the full boatload of 3, because I just like seeing multiples. Because I don't have pots in this deck, I want to have as many of my low levels as possible to see them as often as possible. But we'll get to how we're going to see that in a bit. Next, we have the one of fun of Fire Engine. There are some builds that eschew this guy completely. They don't have this guy completely, but he is an additional body. It's 2500. It helps you close out games, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And he also has a secondary effect where if your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon a level 4 or lower Rescue Ace monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. I repeat, it pulls them out from any of the zones if your opponent special summons a monster. And if you already have the other high level rescue ace monster, it's you can basically just Book of Moon at least one, maybe two of your opponent's monsters, and their turn will stop, usually stop right then and there. And that's Fire Engine's primary job, which I'm honestly surprised that Fire Engine is not the boss monster of this deck. Instead, it's something called Turbulence. But let's be real, it's pronounced turbulence because it's an ambulance that's also somehow a fire truck, and there is nothing more metal than seeing a fire truck that uses tank treads as wheels. But before I start going into that tangent, let's read what this guy does. So to special summon him, just banish 2 Rescue Ace cards from your graveyard to special summon him. Note that this starts a chain, so this can be negated. Somehow, I believe I've seen a solemn judgment stop this guy from landing, and then he ends up in the graveyard. But his primary job in the deck is the second sentence. During your main phase, you can set up to 4 Rescue Ace quick play spells or normal traps with different names directly from your deck. Usually, it's these 4. Nobody uses Reinforce unless it's for very, very, very specific situations. But usually, every of the other spells and traps, especially the quick plays and normal traps, they're the ones that you're going to fetch out. Now, an often forgotten effect that Turbulence has is the third sentence. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, so usually by destroying or by banishing or by returning to hand, but it's usually by destruction. You can target one card on the field and just pop it. This is an effect that doesn't exactly come up often because your back row would have already taken care of those problems before Turbulence would even do his thing. And at 3000 attack and a buff, a significant buff by the way, given by the field spell later on, this guy is your primary finisher, and 2 of them, if they're at 3500 buff by the field spell, that's 7000 points of damage. And then Fire Engine going in for a lethal, and usually just these 3 alone are more than enough. But if we do get the Age of Overlord support, from the talk that I've seen in probably a few months, this deck will be supercharged like nobody's business. And now, speaking of the field spell, here it is, Rescue Ace HQ. Now, I have seen builds that run 3, I have seen builds that run only 1, but the consensus that I've seen is you only run 2. Why? Because of the last sentence. Once per turn, you can target 4 of your Rescue Ace cards that are banished and or in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and then draw 1 card. Now, don't be like me and get extremely greedy with this, where you play 1 Rescue Ace HQ and then you play the other, and then you try to recycle all of them back into the graveyard. Now, that is extremely greedy. Do not do that. Do that move only when you know that you are safe from interaction from your opponent. I have been blown out by my greediness so many times, and I've been playing this deck for 2 weeks, and it's pretty goddamn fun. Not as fun as Pearly though. Pearly is a completely different beast altogether, but you know, while we wait for Pearly support, I'm gonna be playing Rescue Ace. It also has another effect where it basically grants you an additional normal summon in addition to your regular normal summoner set. So that is extremely useful for extending past your opponent's interaction. And then the first sentence, it usually does not matter, but having a 500 attack defense boost can matter in winning certain winning certain battles, especially in this current stage of the game where we don't exactly have the Phantom Nightmare cards just yet, but we will get to that sooner or later. And we'll finally talk about the big 4. We have Rescue, Alert, Contain, and Extinguish. Now, all of them, they may not have the Rescue Ace tag, but they are always treated as a Rescue Ace card, as you can see here. In the parentheses. Now, what do each of them do? Well, Rescue targets a Rescue Ace from your graveyard and special summons it into the field. Or, if you control the Hydrant, this is why Hydrant is extremely important to all of your setups. You can target an opponent's monster instead, and then you summon it to your field instead. So, this is pseudo graveyard hate, but me personally speaking, this is an extremely powerful effect because it removes that monster from your opponent's rotation of cards. And with so many decks being solely reliant on their graveyard these days, and most of them are monster centric by the way, removing it from their circulation and sending it to your side of the field where they can barely touch it, and they would have to spend a few extra resources in order to get that said monster back. That's like golden for a control deck, like for at least for my control build, unlike the more wombo combo build that you have seen probably somewhere on YouTube. But this is really good graveyard hate, or also of course as a recovery tool. Next, we have, I believe, contain, if the program no longer likes that. Oh, not contain, alert. So this is the in archetype Rota. I have seen certain builds run 3 of this. I don't know why, but me personally, this seems to be extremely bricky because stuff needs to be in your graveyard, not in your deck. Because you will only be able to search from your deck if and only if you have a hydrant on the field. And if you don't have a hydrant, then you can only grab stuff from your graveyard. So there's a reason most, if not all, builds run only one of each of any of these. Because if you don't have hydrant, they're pretty much sticks in the mud. I mean, they can still work, but not to their full capacity. And then, of course, next we have the 2 normal traps. We have Contain and Extinguish. Now, they both nearly do the same thing, but they have amazing add-ons if you have a Hydrant on the field. Now, Contain negates an effects monster's effects. Why did I trip up on that sentence so hard? But if Hydrant is on the field, that monster cannot be used as material for extra deck, and that is an amazing form of removal. Basically, they have a brick that is quite literally stuck on board until they somehow find a way to get around it. Now, the effect negation all by itself, honestly, that's more than enough. But the insult to injury here is that effect monster not being used for extra deck shenanigans, and that is an insane amount of punishment for whatever player your opponent could potentially have. And a lot of decks usually fold to just one activation of this, and it's insane how good it is. And finally, Extinguished. It's lagging again. Oh my god. There we go. And there we go. Extinguish. Now, this is nearly similar to what was the other one? Oh god, I already forgot. Contain. While Contain negates an effect, Extinguish in turn destroys. And if you control the Hydrant, your opponent cannot activate the effects of that destroyed monster or of monsters with its same original name this turn. So imagine if you use this against a Harpy Lady player, and they will cry. They will cry so goddamn hard. Oh my god. So that's the core of the Rescue Ace parts of the deck. But now we're going to go over a very small but extremely powerful package here of the Snake Eyes variety. Now, we're going to start with the heroine herself, Diabellstar, the Black Witch, which she is the protagonist of the latest storyline that Konami has been rolling out, because the Albaz storyline is now, well, at least this specific chapter of the Albaz storyline is now done, and now we are on to the Snake Eyes / Sinful Spoils storyline. So, Diabellstar is the protagonist, and you're only really using this for her discard one card to special summon her onto the field, and then you're going to get a Sinful Spoils from the deck. That is the absolute floor of this deck, and honestly, none of the other effects on her matter for the purposes of this deck. But in case you're curious as to what else she does do a few other things, but for the purposes of this deck in particular, she is either a combo starter or it's a way to set up the graveyard. And at 2500 attack, she is also a respectable attacker. And of course, you cannot deny that she has hips that do not lie in the slightest. And then next we have Original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye. Now, Snake Eye is the extender that this deck has been looking for. Because what it says here is you can send another face-up card you control to the graveyard, and then you special summon a level 1 fire monster from your hand or deck. Before this card came along, a lot of Rescue Ace cards simply ran Piri Rise map, where you can directly just search a monster with, I believe, less than 2,000 attack, and then you add it to your hand, but you cannot activate its effects until the next turn. So that sort of shuts it down. Of course, you need to you can get around this effect by normal summoning that monster, but that sort of slows you down a little. And Snake Eye just says fuck you to that, and then just summon it straight onto the field. And it does have a secondary effect that could potentially matter. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target a Snake Eye or Diabell Star monster in your graveyard. Add a level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, and then place the targeted monster to the bottom of your deck. So Diabell Star even comes back. This is why I only run 2 of her, because Snake Eye recycles Diabell Star. And this card is an amazing extender for the deck, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And then, of course, for the typical Master Duel attacks, we have Maxi, Ash Blossom, Call by the Grave, Cross the Designator, and Infinite Permanence. And then I also have a Triple Tactics Thrust package. If there's one thing that Rescue Ace struggles so heavily against, and I don't know why, they did not incorporate it into the deck somehow, is back row decks. So we have 2 ways to deal with back row here in Harpy's Feather Duster, which, by the way, this copy I got from the 2nd anniversary packs, and that it is an amazing feeling to have a royal rare Harpy's Feather Duster that you cannot dismantle. That's the sad part, but at least I got it for pseudo free, quote unquote. But there we go. We have 2 ways to deal with back row decks in Evenly Matched and Harpy's Feather Duster, although a lot of decks resist Feather Duster more so than Evenly Matched. But it's something. It's better than nothing, and we have Triple Tactics Thrust to hopefully close out, to hopefully bridge that gap if our opponent decides to interact with us in any way, shape, or form. But now to the second meat of the deck, which is the extra deck. Now, there is a stock build. There is a stock, quote-unquote, stock way to build the extra deck. It usually involves a lot of one-offs. Usually there are even like synchro lines with this deck in particular, because of the varying levels that you have in this deck. You have a 3, you have a 1, you have a 3, you have a 4, you have a 7, and then you have a 9. So depending on the tuners that you put into this deck, you can extend past more than just having Rescue Ace and just using the deck's ways to easily special summon creatures onto the field, and then just supplement it with something else, and then just wombo combo your way onto to an unbreakable board. But I'm going for the slightly budget route. I crafted a Linkuriboh again after I broke one down some time ago, because I didn't think I would need Linkuriboh ever again. But here we are. I would run 2 if I had the UR points, but as you guys can see, I only have 4, and I will have to farm all over again just so that I can get the UR net points necessary. Now, apart from the Nightmares here, Nightmare, Cerberus, and Phoenix, these are basically other ways to usually bypass a lot of your opponent's defenses, and they also act as removal tools, so that's why I maxed out on them, and they're SRs anyway. And as you guys can see, I have a boatload. I have a lot of SR points to spare. Hita is I'm personally honestly really iffy about this, but given how prominent fire-based archetypes are running around these days, and we will get to even more of them somewhere down the line, now that Fire Kings are like at the top of the TCG metagame right now. I'm not too sure about the OCG side of things, but Fire King Snake Eyes are very popular in the TCG right now, and Hita is definitely extremely necessary for that particular format. But for here on Master Duel, where quite literally you can face off against like a huge smattering of decks, both meta and non-meta, I only have her at 2. I mean, I could bump her down to 1, but having at least 1 Hita, which is honestly a necessity. But if you do have the UR points, you should run at least 2 Promethean Princess Bestower Flames. Now, this card, I highly underestimated it at first, because I didn't think I would need it, because Ambler Whale is the budget option. The control tools that Rescue Ace has anyway is good enough, but she can resurrect herself. That's basically why she is in the deck. She can resurrect herself because if she's in the graveyard, you can target a fire monster you control and a monster your opponent controls, destroy them, and if you do, special summon discard. Oh wait, yeah. If a monster is special summoned to your opponent's field while discards in your graveyard, yes, and you can do that. So the last sentence is honestly the most important part of Promethean Princess here, and she is very powerful for that very reason, and you wouldn't have it any other way. A free pop just by sacrificing a monster. Of note, you can sacrifice a copy of herself, which is now that I'm reading it, it doesn't say excluding Promethean Princess, so you can sacrifice another copy of herself so that you can bring back her other self from the graveyard. That is sick. Oh my god. I mean, I would craft her if I could, but I'm gonna save up the UR points for you, milady. Then moving to the other ones. One thing that a lot of earlier builds had is Pit Knight early. Now, this guy, a lot of people tend to underestimate him because he's only 1500 and his effect only really works if a monster is special summoned to a spot that it points to. So you would usually set him on the leftmost side where where early points to the center. Wait, this is a chick. Okay, where she points to the center, and hopefully your opponent forgets about it. And I have had gotcha moments where opponents summon their monster to the centermost column, and early would do her effect. And they would cry. They would cry, and I have seen a very, very salty scoop happen where they let the timer run out and then they just quit the game like soon after the fact. Like, oh my god. Um, this can catch people off guard, but this is definitely a budget option if I ever saw one. But you can still run her, especially if you're going to keep the extra deck loose. Well, not exactly loose. Less compact. There, that's the better term. Less compact like mine. The extra deck is definitely the floor as to what Rescue Ace could be, but again, I'm treating this more like a control deck than a wombo combo balls to the wall deck. My intention here is to slow my opponent down and then kill them over the course of at the very least 2 turns. And last but not least, speaking of which, Embla Whale. This is a card that I did not really think so much about because it's just a big body. But with linked monsters being so prominent these days, this guy can easily clear 3000 attack. And if it's destroyed, you can even revive a low-level monster. And if a link 3 or lower monster on the field is destroyed by a battle card effect while it's in your graveyard, you can banish it and then destroy 1 card on the field. Now, it's basically like if you destroy it, you summon one back, and then if that is destroyed, it can banish itself, and then it's a pop. So there is a lot of popping like that doesn't even happen on the field. So your opponent has to be wary of certain effects happening before, and then it would already be too late, and then they realize, oh shit, I'm going to lose a lot because of this play. So yeah, that is the entire rescue. Well, at least my specific build. And I failed to mention one for one, but this is just like the fourth copy of Hydrant. I honestly think Hydrant is far more potent than any of the other than Impulse and Airlifter because you're going to get to them very easily anyway. But I would not fault you for running Rota as well because Airlifter is so integral to this deck, and if he is ever hit in any way, shape, or form, if they're going to follow the TCG logic and limit Airlifter to 1, then definitely the 2 slots, one of which will definitely go to Rota. But without further ado, let's get our fire suits on and let's douse some flames in the rank ladder. My opponent's making me go second, which usually for a go first deck is always a nightmare, but with a hand like this, I wish I had gone first. So let's just see what my opponent is up to. They are running a slightly this is, I believe, a 42. Oh god, Weather Painters, you're gonna make me read opponent already this early, and I know you have a quick effect I know you have quick effect shenanigans here, so let's see. When this card is normal summon, you can use this once during a standby phase. Oh wait, I don't think she has any quick effect shenanigans. So I mean, this could be bait, honestly. We should just save all of our interaction until much later. So we're going to allow them to do their thing first. Yeah, they set up their canvases, and then they're going to paint a pretty picture for all of us. can place the weather. You can only use each weather forecast. Okay, yes, you can. Okay, it provides an additional normal summon. Sure. We're going to definitely stop another search if they ever do indeed commit. But otherwise, we are in for a bad time. Because like I said in the deck, if there's one thing that Rescue Ace is bad at, it's back row based decks, and Weather Painters are definitely a back row based deck. It's just really slow, and again, I believe there have been some people who have described Weather Painter decks as the moment you start reading their cards, your mind just immediately starts glossing over a lot of them. You suddenly become extremely smooth brained. The moment you start reading their cards. Where did that quick effect go? Okay, you can banish this card, add a weather card, the weather card from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot add except by drawing them. Sure. So they can use the snowy canvas again later on, but let's see if we can force the issue. We're gonna see what my opponent is going to be up to here. They are setting a card which is already scary, so it could be the trap card that they searched. Oh, he's going to special summon the Weather Painter Rainbow. Yeah, I forgot that they could do that. When your opponent would special summon, you can send negate. Okay, sure. We're just going to use Imperm on her. What the fuck is this? Become machine monsters you control. Machine monster use 500. So we definitely need. What the fuck is he up to? Okay. Just so that it's slightly bigger. Okay, sure. You sacrifice all that for what? You have one card in hand. Although, if there's anything I know about Weather Painters, is that they can fetch their banished monsters out of there. Yeah, there we go. Because they have their once per turns, and they would do their thing. Ooh. Cloud is in the graveyard, not in the banish pile. That is interesting. Okay, first things first, we're gonna imperm the painter. If my unit allows me. There we go. Alright. So we're gonna imperm her so that our summons will not be negated unless of course my opponent does something about it. Okay, sure. Unless of course she is not affected by card effects because of something I am definitely not reading. But okay, she's negated. I hope that's good-ish, but at the very least we are slightly insulated now. I'm not sure what else they could do here, but we're going to see soon enough. So now, what we're going to do, we could use the Abel Star here. Or we could just use 1-for-1 and bait out whatever this is that's in their hand. So we're gonna do that. In case this is an Ash Blossom, this is definitely the place to do it. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna 1-for-1, we're gonna discard the Abel Star, and that should already tip them off as to what I am about to do. If this is an Ash Blossom, then more power to you, opponent. Okay, we did not get what we needed, but we did not get the reaction we had anticipated, so we're just gonna do our thing here. Okay. Now that we have Hydrant, oh, by the way, we have not normal summoned, so that is something. And let's see what else my opponent is going to do here. I believe they are reading because I don't think they have faced off against Rescue Ace just yet. The Painter is negated, so they could... Okay, they're not going to do anything about it. Now we do this. Hydrant. Go do your thing. Search me a potato salad. Not that potato salads are too much of a thing. We're going to search, I believe... Do we search Impulse? No, we can't search Impulse because it can't negate the small Weather Painter. So, no. We should just... Honestly, we just get Turbulence. more than anything else, we just get Turbulence. But I don't think that will do us any good. At least not at this current juncture. So we're gonna get Airlifter, and I'm going to do what is called a pro gamer move. We're going to send the Hydrant from the field, so we summon another Hydrant from the deck. So there's that. So at least we have one material in the graveyard for future Turbulence plays. So let's see here. Okay. Then we do this. Then what else do you have for me here, opponent? Do you have something for me here, opponent? You have been holding on to whatever it is you're holding on to. And I do not like it at all. Of note, a lot of my stuff are now machines, thanks to this continuous spell that my opponent has gracefully given us. So there's that. Then we'll try to activate Airlifter. Do you have a negation for this opponent? No, you do not. That is interesting. And now we're going to use this. Yeah, we're going to use Alert, or this is what we're going to use to get Turbulence into our hand. There we go. But we're not going to do... I think we should do this now, before my opponent has any interaction whatsoever. Because I believe, if I'm reading this correctly, he's saving this for Turbulence. But if priority is being passed back that quickly, then I am not quite sure what my opponent has here. So now we get Turbulence added to hand. There we go. And then, because we have two... Oh, we already have two. Ooh, that's interesting. Ooh, that's spicy. Okay. We should not play into my opponent's shenanigans here, because that will definitely cost us a lot. And opponent, I'm sorry, I'm not playing slow on purpose, but my laptop has been lagging so badly lately, especially whenever I record. So we're going to set Turbulence in the middle, and by the way, this guy has an animation! Yay, there he goes. Alright, so Turbulence in the middle, and 2500. It's not too bad, but hopefully the HQ will resolve some of those problems. I don't want to use that effect just yet, so we're going to do this. We're going to force the issue out of them. There we go. And because the Link monster is negated, I believe we have free reign to do whatever we want here. Unless, of course, I am completely wrong. We're gonna see. If this is Link summon, do you have a... Oh, okay, he has a response for this one. Okay, unless he doesn't, in which case I can do my thing. Alright, so now we do this. We're going to discard the Called by Grave because this deck doesn't play with their graveyard in the Sololightest. And let's see if you have a response to this opponent. I'm doing this now, or else you will forever hold your peace. Alright, oh wow, he really couldn't activate it. At the start of the damage, if goes battles an opponent's monster. Okay. Oh, he was waiting for combat. But he can't go into combat. So, and I believe the small weather painter here only grabs stuff from the deck and then adds it to hand, if I remember correctly. You can place... Oh no, it sets it right onto the spell trap zone. Okay. So now what we're going to do, we're going to activate HQ. Oh, if my laptop allows me that. Nope, it completely canceled the action. Alright, we're gonna try again. So we're going to recycle all 4 of these back, because we have exactly 4. Good God, the Snake Eyes cards really do help out this deck's consistency so much. Okay, so now they've been cycled back in, and we draw our card. I wanted to get that out of the deck. I wanted to get that out of the deck, god damn it. Okay, so now we're going to go into combat first. Because this is now slightly bigger, we're going to attack this. I mean, just 100 points of damage, but it's not too much of a big deal. Okay, so now we're going to main phase 2, and again, opponent, I am not playing slow on purpose. My input lag is just really extremely hampered because of the age of this goddamn laptop. So there we go. Yes, we'll set another card. We'll set the other one, and that's why the Turbulence and Rescue Ace HQ interaction is so goddamn good. Although we don't have Hydrant, so we're not going to be able to do our thing here. So this, and this. Of course, the last one. There we go. This would be so much better if we had Hydrant, but with what we're dealing with right now is honestly more than enough. So, and they don't play with their graveyard anyway, so this is fine. It is honestly completely fine. So we have our opponent. I hope we have our opponent on the ropes. We're gonna find out soon enough here, but they are down to 2 cards in hand, and a lot of their stuff is probably. Oh, well, shit. That's one way to deal with it. Well, that's one way to do it. Okay. We could just destroy this. Because yeah, they don't have it. So yeah, we're just gonna destroy it. Yeah, we're just gonna destroy. We're just gonna destroy this. You don't have the continuous spell that allows you to do your thing anyway. So I guess why not? Um. Oh, and if they do this, Turbulence will do his thing. That's interesting. Okay, sure. So we're just going to destroy the small weather painter. Yeah, sure. Feather duster it away. And then because my cards left the field, Turbulence will trigger, I believe. Alright. And that's how we will get rid of your field spell, opponent. I am so sorry I have to do this, but it has to be done. Unless you have a way to stop this from happening, no you do not. Alright. Now, opponent, you are facing off against near lethal. What are you going to do about it? Let's see. Alright, just moving straight into end phase. Alright, cool. Now we're going to draw. Oh, we finally get a hydrant, so that's something. We definitely need another field spell in order to recycle our shenanigans, but we're gonna do this first. So we're gonna banish the sinful spoils. We're gonna target the Abel Star to go back into the deck. Then we're gonna search the hydrant, just to shuffle our deck a little. There we go. All right. Then that's at the bottom of the deck now, and we'll worry about that when we get there. And then, what does my opponent wish to do here? I have no idea what else he can do here. He's basically dead in a couple of turns. I don't know what else he's fighting for here. But we're gonna see soon enough. All right. So that happens, and then Hydrant does his thing. There we go. We're going to add Impulse. We're gonna add Impulse. Since we can get Airlifter off of no. We can only get Impulse, or rather we can only get Airlifter off of a Fire Engine. So we're just gonna swing. We're just gonna swing. My opponent doesn't have anything, and I believe I pretty much have this in the bag, but I don't want to be too confident yet. So I'll come back in case something else interesting happens, but otherwise I definitely win this duel. So I'll see you guys there. Wow, I did not expect that duel against Weather Painter to go as long as it did, but now we're facing off against an opponent with no extra deck, so that is automatically the scariest thing you could see here on Master Duel. This could either be an FTK deck or just some other kind of bullshit that we are definitely sorely not prepared for. So we're gonna see what my opponent has in store for us here, and we will find out very shortly what kind of flavor of bullshit they are. So let's see what you got here, opponent. What flavor of spicy are you serving me today? It's Trickstars. Well, it's starting with Trickstars. So this is highly likely Exodia, because there's absolutely no extra deck. I don't know why you wouldn't have an extra deck for this, or it's just some bullshit that we are wholly not prepared for. Okay, using Vernisylves. Okay. You have my attention, opponent. What could you be possibly doing here? I am just a member of the fire department. I just want to do my thing, to do my civic duty. What the fuck did you just discard? Let me read, opponent. As soon as my laptop, see Silglared Luminous Dragon. Target a card. Return a monster if you take control until the. Oh, this is that. I believe this is that bullshit card. That you can somehow loop. Okay, but you only have 2 cards in hand, and I'll take the bait. Sure, I will Ash Blossom that. You are not going to have any fun here, opponent. I just spent the last 30 minutes watching paint dry, so this will hopefully slow you down enough. Let's see. Unless it does, which is honestly very likely, given that you just might be playing a very jank deck. Alright, Tour Guide from the Underworld is not something, but do you have any targets? You don't have any targets. Wait, is this? Now that I think about it, Masochist runs have been running wild lately. Is this a Masochist player? That would be Interesting. I mean, if you are a masochist player, then hats off to you, soldier. Good luck on your journey. But you could still have a chance because I bricked pretty hard. Unless, of course, I draw a monster off the top or a monster that gets me out of it from the top. That is not a monster that gets me out of this. Oh my god. That's not something that gets me out of this at all. Okay. We are sorely not prepared for a masochist run, but we can delay. If they will just be doing what I think they're doing, if they will just be, getting big monsters down as soon as possible, as often as possible, and they only have one card in hand, so Ash Blossom will not be something I will be worried about anymore. We're going to set Infinite Permanence down, and let's just see I'm assuming this is a masochist opponent, given that they have no extra deck, and the monsters that they have been summoning so far are of the janky variety. Well, not exactly janky. I mean, Turget from the Underworld used to be a meta threat way back when. Korobane as well, part of the entire Trickstar engine way back when. Cellglare, though, is the smoking gun here. This is definitely some bullshit that I am sorely not prepared for, although I have heard that people have been undergoing masochist runs, and they are enjoying the ever-living crap out of it. But unfortunately, I don't have the time nor the resources to do such a thing. So I'll let the other YuGiTubers have that spotlight rather than me. I prefer just sticking to this instead. And I also have other games that I record for this channel. So if you're interested in that, you can just go and check it out. But let's see what else my opponent could potentially be doing here. I'm not going to do any cuts anytime soon because we could literally be surprised by anything and everything and everything here. Because if this is indeed a masochist player, then we are going to be in for a hell of a time. Tribute summoning, yep, this is definitely a masochist player. Oh my god, summoning Superbia. Oh, it is Superbia. Oh, I can never say Superbia without singing that song by Craig David ever. But he has no fairy types, although Superbia is large. 2900 is nothing to sneeze at. This can kill me within 4 turns. So let's see. Good thing I set Ash Blossom because the clock would be so much shorter if I didn't. So let's see. Definitely not blocking. Definitely not activating Imperm there. So let's see. All right. Ash Blossom, your defense stat definitely saved us there. I was gonna say booty, but that would have the FBI knocking on my door. So let's see what else my opponent could have up their sleeve here. Otherwise, we're just going to proceed with our turn. If I do draw a monster, we will proceed without cuts. But if I don't draw a monster, it will be similar to that Weather Painter duel, and I will be watching paint dry along with my opponent here. Unless, of course, he kills me with Superbia, which, honestly, if I don't draw a monster, it will be a very stark possibility. Alright, it will be a very stark possibility, so I'll just see you guys either at the end of this duel, because this will take a while, or I finally draw into a monster, because I have at least 3 turns to do so, unless of course he has another monster in hand, in which case I probably only have 2. So I'll just see you guys there. Okay, we're back. So I finally did draw into a monster, but it's a monster that I simply cannot summon no matter how hard I try. I definitely needed a lower level monster, or hell, even the Bellstar would have been useful in that exact situation. But I'm just going to show my opponent what I was working with, and I'm going to concede. Well, I'm not going to concede because I will definitely give this my masochist opponent the win that they deserve because they are doing a masochist run, but I bricked pretty goddamn hard. So I'll just see you guys in the next duel. Okay, I'm finally going first, and my opponent, again, to my previous opponent, good luck, soldier. You're gonna need it. Alright, now, this isn't exactly what we're looking for, but we will have a lot of graveyard setup for this one. We have Snake Eye here. We have 1 for 1 as Ash Blossom bait. We can use Maxi because Sinful Spoils doesn't care what face-up card you have on board, as long as it's a face-up card. So we're gonna discard Impulse, which again will already give away what we're up to here. So let's just get it out of the way, and let's see what my opponent has for us here. They do have the Ash Blossom. Great. They are rocking the Fiend Field. So we're gonna see what they're going to be up to shortly here. But that's I mean, definitely 1-for-1 is the Ash Blossom bait here. If they have the Fiend Field, that means they don't have much. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use Sinful Spoils. Okay, we're gonna do that here. Then we're going to summon Hydrant. Oop, come on, there we go. All right. This is like the bare minimum feel that you can do with this deck. There we go. Then we're gonna get Turbulence. And this is the reason why, one thing I learned over time, Linkuriboh is a lot better than Almirage, because Almirage will only take material if the monster has been normal summoned and has 1,000 attack or less. Linkuriboh only cares if it's level 1. It doesn't care about anything else. And also Linkuriboh is like decent battle protection. So there's also that. And since we're going first, we're going to set Turbulence in defense position because we still fear Lightning Storm in this household. And there we go. This is the board. I mean, it's not much, but it's decent at least. So yeah, this is the bare minimum Rescue Ace board that you should come to expect when you're fighting against this deck on the rank ladder. So this is like this is what you should expect at the very least, on top of all of the other bullshit that the deck is capable of. So we're just going to shuffle up these cards around. So we're going to put that on the leftmost, we're going to put this here, we're going to put that there, we're going to put that in the other one. There we go. And your move, opponent. What will be your guiding action here? He stopped my Ash Blossom, yes, but I still managed to set up like at the very least 3 points of well, just 2 actually, all things considered. Should we stop that? I have a feeling we should stop that, or we should just stop whatever synchro payoff they could potentially have. I think that would be the better line rather than having rather than stopping Terrortop, because this is so obviously bait. Okay, yeah, Takatomborg and then special summon that, sure. Wait, is Terrortop a tuner? No, it's not. But it is good synchro material, so there's that. Okay, yep, summon Takatomborg, which, by the way, is now wholly unlimited, and I believe so is Terrortop. Terrortop is now also unlimited, yes. Oh, MX Saber Invoker! That is a name I have not heard in a very, very, very long time. Special summon a level 4. Wait, is this just Zodiac? This is just Zodiac, isn't it? This is just Zodiac, isn't it? Oh my god. Well, he already normal summoned and already used a special effect, so instead of negating, we're just gonna destroy. Get the fuck out of here, MX Saber. You were unlimited, yes, but wait, are you limited or unlimited? Okay, just limited to 1. Okay. So Zodiacs now have a level 3 engine to get their play started. So there's that. But I highly believe that stops them dead in their tracks. Okay, this is indeed Zodiac because they also have a Tri-Brigade engine. I am holding out hope that this is just Zodiac. Okay. Otherwise, this is just Tri-Brigade splashing the MX Saber engine, because I believe this guy summons a beast. Yeah, a level 4 Earth Warrior or Beast Warrior. Yeah, so it will summon either Fractal or Keras onto the field, and then they will go from there. You normal summon that, huh? Well, unfortunately for you, I will not allow you to do anything else. You're gonna stay on the field, Kit. I'm sorry, you're cute, but you have to stay on the field for the greater good of, well, the greater good. You're not gonna go anywhere, girl. Oh wait, no, he can still use it as link material because I don't have a Hydrant on the field. Oh no! That is going to be bad, but at least she's negated here. But I hope my opponent forgets that. Yep, it is indeed Zodiac. Yep. Yep, here we go. Here we go. Yep, all right. We try to stop them best we can. I believe I should have negated Keras instead, but we're not going to. We're not going to be able to punch through this. I believe his option now here is to just summon Shuraig and just get on with it. Just banish Turbulence and then just get on with it. But I do still have a fighting chance because they can still go into combat. They can screw this up somehow, but I honestly highly doubt that. So let's just see what end board Zodiac has. Zodiac in 2024. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. I never thought I'd see this deck again, but because I don't see it around so often, and granted, there is good reason why you don't see them around, because Kashtira is still in the goddamn game, and they haven't done anything to stop Arai. They haven't done anything to stop Arai's heart from terrorizing our graveyards. So Zodiac, and other graveyard-centric decks like, say, Dinosaur, they definitely will not thrive in this environment. Hell, even Transcendrakes, which is like insane dinosaur support, is not flourishing simply because of the fact that Arise Heart exists, and they have not done anything, and I mean anything, to stop that from happening. So we're just gonna that's and I mean it's just sad. It's just sad. I love playing dinosaurs, and they were my main deck for the longest time, but Arise Heart just stabbed me in the heart and told me don't play with them anymore, and then just gives me this plushie of Pearly and Lily, and the rest is history. But he's doing the link lines rather than the Xyz lines, so that's something. It will be 5k attack. I'm not dead, but this will definitely hurt a lot. If he does what I think he's gonna do, yeah, he's going to pop my two monsters and just come in for a clean amount of damage, which is to be expected if the Zodiac deck is going through the link lines rather than the Xyz lines. This is definitely there. I mean, this is the end board that I prefer, and he screwed up. So now I stand a chance. That is definitely a punt on their part. They should have, yeah, because Ferrijit and Rugal are both Earth. They should have set another oh, excuse me, should have gone for another Link monster there, but unless it's not a punt, which is also a possibility now that I think about it. They just use Access Code Talker as an extremely resource-intensive removal spell, which is, I mean, hats off to them. I don't know, just finding a way. And then Borbo here to do what I believe, yeah, just attack directly. Although I can stop it. I can stop it. I may choose to not take damage here. Yeah. And then I believe Zeus only cares if the monster attacked, but I'm not going to lose any life points here, opponent. So he's going to stack all of the Zodiacs on top of each other and then end on Zeus probably, or he's just going to end on Mommy Dryden and then pass. Yeah, Chakanine, yeah, doing her thing. You're gonna revive, in which case you're just okay. He's literally just going to stack all of the Zodiacs on top of each other like some really weird human-shaped Jenga. Yeah, Tiger Mortar into Hammer Kong. Broad Bull is still banned, but good God, there's a reason that guy is banned. And then Mommy Trident, I assume. Yep, Mommy Trident. I never noticed, by the way, that she has those huge ass badonkadonks until somebody pointed it out, because I always thought Trident was a dude. But then I noticed the badonkadonks, and my viewpoint on her changed forever. Yes, Mommy, I will always call her Mommy. So they only have a Zodiac, but with 6 goddamn materials, so that's going to be very, very hard to out. Unless I do something here. That is something. Ah, yes. I love it when a plan comes together. Alright, now we have one turn to fix this. We should fix this right here, right now. Oh my god, we should fix this right here, right now. Oh god, we can't fix it. Oh no. We can only summon Turbulence, yes. But we can't do anything else besides that. Because Zeus is in defense position, and we can't exactly do what we need to do here. Oh no. So we're only going to delay the inevitable. But this will at least strike fear into the heart of my opponent, hopefully. So that happened. He can still detach, so that he has graveyard set up, but we're both running on fumes here. So he could just kill me with Zeus beatdowns if he doesn't draw into anything else more significant. His graveyard is pretty loaded, but I highly doubt anything else will happen here. So I'll just see you guys at the next interesting point. Okay, and welcome to the end screen, and I mean, it's about what I expected. um, what more can I say? It's honestly, I honestly wrote off Rescue Ace at first because I thought, it's just another like flavor-filled archetype that won't really make too much of a splash in the metagame. But then somebody somewhere discovered the power behind all of the cards, and suddenly started taking names with it, and now here we are. Here I am, rather, playing this deck, and here is the rest of the meta, finally catching up to it. When I first saw this deck in play, like a couple of months back during the Duelist Cup, I thought it was just, I mean, it was honestly boring just seeing Wombo combo Balls to the Wall Rescue Ace using their easy to summon monsters just as a way to, do Link or Synchro lines. But with the this deck definitely needs the Age of Overlord support. No doubt about it. It needs the Age of Overlord support, because if we have that, we will instead have 6 ways to search Hydrant rather than the 3 we have here, or 9 or maybe even 12, depending on how you look at it. Because both Airlifter, well, not really Airlifter, Impulse rather, searches from the deck, summons from the deck rather, and you have plenty of other ways to recycle stuff, like search and or recycle stuff. And this deck is definitely something to keep on your radar for the time being. So the fire department really is one hell of a place to be in right now. So if you guys want to, I fumbled that so hard, oh my god. So if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.